Welcome to Transform with Travel, a show helping busy professionals plan more bucket list trips that reignite adventure and go beneath the surface, without the overwhelm of planning, the endless midnight scroll, and the crowded tourist traps. Buckle up, because we are about to take off. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Transform with Travel podcast. I am here with Gabi Arbesu. She is one of my oldest friends that I have here in South Florida. We've known each other since elementary school. She was in my sister's year growing up, and we've just been able to follow each other's journeys from kindergarten all the way to now. Yeah. And really, I think we started crossing paths more when you got more involved with your yoga journey, and we were talking about yoga teacher trainings, and then you were traveling all over the world, and you happened to stay in our apartment in Annandale in Sydney, and we went out for Thai food, and it's just been really fun to be able to see each other grow. And when Sam and I moved back here, you were really such a rock for me in the yoga community, pointing me in the right directions of where to go to. And here we are now, just living our dreams.
It's so honestly crazy. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Whenever you say it like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, all this time has passed, and here we are. It's so crazy how similar our journeys have been. Yeah. And just we kept in touch all these years, and it's been great. Yeah.
People are always like, oh, do you know Gabi? Gabi Arbesu, she teaches at so-and-so. And I'm like, yes, I know Gabi. We've known each other forever. So it's really awesome to have you here.
Day one. Yeah.
And so I guess speaking of day one, I'd love to speak a little bit about just growing up and, you know, your Cuban-American heritage. You're proud about being a Cuban-American, and I'd love to hear what growing up with was that like, because you went to, you know, Catholic school your whole life, and I'd love to hear how the thread of the culture really helped you become who you are today.
I love this question, and it's really funny because in South Florida, there are so many Latin communities. Like, there's so many Cubans, there's so many Cuban-Americans, and growing up at the school that I went to, I felt like I was one of the only Hispanic girls. So I had this loud, crazy family, and then I would have all these crazy loud experiences with them. And when I mean crazy, it's just like constant screaming, dinners at like midnight, we're drinking coffee, I'm like 6 years old. Like, it was just always wild and chaotic. And then I would go to all my friends' houses, and I'm like, everyone's so quiet.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's so like reserved. Yeah. It was just a completely different dynamic from like a traditional American culture to what I grew up with. And I think the way that it shaped me was that I was, from the rip, told to just always speak with my chest, speak my mind, no filter, never hold back, and also just like to be myself. I think that was always something really cool about my family, is that everyone's a really loud, big personality, but we want that, you know, in each other. We want everyone to be explicit and raw and real. And it was definitely a culture shock for me, because I was like, oh, we're eating dinner and no one's talking. Yeah. Or it's just like, how was school today, Jimmy? And I'm like, oh, wow, we were talking about like everything at my family dinner. So I feel like it just really opened the door for me as a kid to be loud, crazy, and myself.
Yeah. And not a lot of kids get to have that experience, because it's often be seen and not heard, you know, always being quiet, you're being too loud, you're being too much of you.
Right.
And so, I mean, at least from what I can see and witness in our friendship, is that you are so unapologetically yourself, and you're so authentic, and you're so open and vulnerable. And you don't see that a lot in a lot of people anymore. People are afraid to show their true selves, especially online. So I think it's really great that you're able to do that with such open-heartedness.
And I feel like, given the travels that I've been exploring in the past couple of years to Latin countries, it has given me such a deeper perspective on Latin culture. And even though I'm not going to Cuba directly, to be able to go to Spain, where my ancestors are from, to be able to like live in Nicaragua for a couple months, like, it definitely has brought me culturally closer to my family, to my initial first language, to the food. Like, it all just feels very at home and at peace for me. So I feel grateful that my parents were very gung-ho about teaching me Spanish, cooking authentic food. It just really set the tone for like the rest of my life, I feel like.
Yeah, and you're able to bring that into your relationship. You're able to bring that into your future family, like continuing that lineage of where you're from. So that's so cool.
Bilingual babies.
Yeah, I mean, that's a dream, right?
Right.
So growing up, you went to school and then you fell into yoga somehow. So I know we didn't really do a little bit of an intro, but Gabby is a registered yoga teacher. She does retreats all over the world. You have your hand in so many different things, but really your like base training is around yoga. Can you talk about your journey into getting involved with yoga and what led you to wanting to do a teacher training and creating a career out of it?
Absolutely. How raw are we getting on this?
As much as you want.
Okay, here we go. Well, I was playing soccer my entire life, and I was on a travel team, and around 16 years old, I had a very traumatic sexual assault happen to me, and it actually involved like soccer in a really weird way, and it stopped my soccer career. And at that time, I was so active, and being in movement in my body and also in a community, like on a team, was so important to me. And after a couple of months of feeling immensely lost in this like deep state of just confusion, and also you're 16, you don't even know what the hell's going on in any other aspect of your life. So I just felt like I was flipped and turned upside down. And this girl in class like kept talking about yoga and hot yoga, and oh my gosh, I sweat so much, it feels so good, it's so hard. Like everyone in there struggling. I'm like, hard? Sweating? That sounds kind of fun. And I went to a local studio down the street, begged my mom to drop me off, didn't have a car yet, and she was like, oh, fine. And I went into the class, and I don't even think I did anything in that class. I just watched the teacher the entire time. She was cueing us in a handstand for like 2 minutes, and I was like, this lady's incredible. And I was just watching everyone's bodies moving and sweating and the moaning and the breath work, and I was just like, wow, I felt alive. And I went twice a day, every day for 2 years after that, pretty much. Like I was full on just like addicted. And I kind of lost my way through college, as we do a little bit.
As we do. It's like part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm like glad that I lost it a little bit, because then I got way back into it like tenfold. And it was a studio in Tallahassee when I went to college, and the teacher was like, you're here all the time and you love it so much. You go to every workshop. Like, you'd be a great teacher. At that time, I was lost in college. I was like about to drop out because I was like, I don't even know what the hell I want to do with my life. But I knew I loved one thing, and it was that. And so when she said that, I was like, oh, can I make that my career? Like, do people do that? And she's like, well, I do. I'm like, are you happy? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Called my dad. I was like, I'm going to be a yoga teacher. He was like, oh God, Gabby, really?
Here she goes.
Here she goes again. And I'm like, yes, I'm dropping out. I'm not finishing the semester. I'm coming home. And I honestly just didn't look back. It was just like a full, like, she said that one thing, and then I hyper fixated on it, and here we are.
And so you did your training up in Tallahassee, or did you do it back down here?
Here in Boca with Leslie Glickman at Yoga Journey. Yeah. If anyone gets the pleasure of, learning from her and being in her class, she's like a second mother to me, and happens to be my best friend's mom, which is really incredible. And I asked Molly, my best friend, I was like, hey, does she do training still? And she's like, oh my gosh, yes. And she connected us because it's been a couple of years, and I signed up for the next one available. And it was just like steadfast from there. Like, and Leslie, she's one of those teachers that she doesn't want to teach you just to teach. She wants to teach you also how to incorporate you being a teacher into your everyday life, and to actually be like a pillar in your community, to hold space for the community and for your students. Like, connection is one of the best things she's ever taught me, and I'm forever grateful for her.
And it's hard. You can teach someone how to get into Warrior 2. You can teach someone how to do a handstand, but you can't teach someone the art of holding space just off a 1 hour class. Like, to have that relationship with your teacher, to be able to watch how they hold space and hold that container. And that's something that you do really well.
Thank you.
In your retreats as well. I know you host a bunch of retreats, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I remember seeing on Facebook or Instagram or something way back when, and you went to Sayulita, I think either a teacher training or a retreat or something. And I remember seeing you, like, all the beautiful pictures, and I was like, oh yeah, this girl's going to be traveling and teaching yoga and doing all those things with her life. Travel's always been such a big part of your life. Can you talk, like, has this been since day one? Was it part of your family culture, or was it something that you fell in love with later as an adult?
It's such a cringy story. It's kind of funny, but I saw the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Oh yeah, okay.
And she went to Greece, and I was like, I want to go somewhere like that. And to me, like, I had been to different places with my family, but nothing that ever made me go, wow, where is that? And how can I learn more about the culture and the people? And I don't know how old I was, but I know I was like in middle school when I saw that. And I printed out pictures of Greece on my wall, as we did. We'd tape it to like the ceiling. I would stare at it.
And then your dad gets mad at you because the paint's going to rip it off.
Literally. I put like 30 pictures on my wall. And after that, I think it was more so like I would just think about it like every single day in school. Like, all right, I'm going to get out of high school, go to college, and then I'm going to travel. And I didn't have a plan as to like where or when or how. And I didn't even know what that would entail. Because at that time, like, there wasn't social media. Yeah, there was the internet, but, like, no one that I knew as a kid would talk about travel or do it. It was more so, like, I would just, like, see it in movies and be inspired. And then once I was in college and I got into, like, Pinterest and YouTube and I was, like, starting to research actual places I wanted to go to, I was like, oh, I can do this myself. Like, all these really cool people traveling and doing it, I can do that too. And I think that really opened my eyes to there's more than the traditional education route. Just going to college, finding the husband, having the babies, buying the house, the whole thing. I was like, oh, I kind of want to fuck off and go find myself a little bit and lose myself 10,000 times and find myself again and get a little lost.
And so these stories of wanting to lose yourself and find yourself and almost like this like rebirth, like death and rebirth, death and rebirth, where has been like the most transformative place or like, maybe the transformative trip? And that doesn't always mean like the best trip you've ever taken. Sometimes it's a really challenging trip or a really challenging culture for you to assimilate in. What has been one of the most life-changing trips that you've taken?
The trip that stands out when you say that was a 4-month stint. And I was in Zanzibar, Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. And Africa can chew you up and spit you out. Like, I almost got kidnapped. I almost got robbed. I lost a flight, lost like a lot of money because as a backpacker, like every dollar counts. So I had like every crazy situation happen. But then I would open the window and I'm in a beautiful, incredible country with incredible humans and culture. So I was just like, this is travel. You're going to get tested in every which way, but the photo is going to be really cool. And your eyes are going to be really wide with beauty, but it's going to humble you and you're going to get scared. And I think that, and it's actually right before I saw you in Australia, like a couple months prior, which was like such a blessing. But I just think that Africa for me was just, travel's not about all these pretty things that you're seeing, cool things that you're doing, all these like, look what I just did or look what I'm up to today. It's this losing rebirth cycle that you have with yourself and the world around you. And I think it expanded not only my consciousness of self and the world around me, but it educated me on truly how culture can really separate or unite people. And I'm forever grateful for that place, honestly. I haven't been back yet, but I want to.
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing your pictures and I remember texting you like, wow, this looks incredible. This looks great. And you were like, it is. And this happened to me. And then this happened to me. And this happened to me. So it does put in perspective that there's always a story behind, you know, what someone's going through, and anything you see on Instagram isn't the full story, and we don't have to share everything, right? It can just be like stories that help shape you, and we don't have to share absolutely everything. I really liked what you said, that culture can either unite or divide, and I think we're seeing that so much, you know, day after day in the US. But then you're seeing other cultures uniting so much just because it's based on like the fabric of their society, the way that families integrated, the way that food and like looking after the elderly in certain cultures. I'm sure you have seen that through different villages going through Africa. I'm sure you see that as you live in Central America, which we'll get to in a little bit too. So yeah, I think that's a really interesting perspective of how observant you've been of other cultures, rather than being like, here I am in this beautiful place, take the picture and leave. Like, you really feel like you've immersed yourself in those cultures that you visited.
And that's so funny when you said like observing and awareness, like that's exactly what it is. Like, and not to really put a damper on the experience of growing up in America. We are blessed in so many ways, and I feel grateful to have been born here and raised here. But there is a massive level of just you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder and you travel and you're like, this is really cool. You don't understand that you're traveling to someone's home. And there's other cultures around you that don't operate the same way as you do. And in Zanzibar, like even walking down the street and taking a photo of this beautiful woman with her incredible headdress, and she turns around and she yelled at me and like spit at my feet and like cursed me out. And I was like flabbergasted, unknowing that in their culture to take pictures of women is very frowned upon, pretty much illegal. And it took me back, but then I was like, this is necessary for me. Like, I don't live in this bubble and in this world where the world is my oyster. The world's not my oyster. If anything, like, I'm just observing respectfully, and I'm honored to experience this type of thing.
Wow. That was amazing. I think that's such an incredible point for people to really hone in on is how can we be the observer of a different situation rather than being like, this experience is for me. It's like, actually, how can we be more of like a fly on the wall and just like really immerse yourself in that sense?
Yeah.
You get to take away tenfold when you respond or travel like that.
Absolutely. And I think when people are like, I had the most incredible trip and the people there were so amazing, I think that's when like, when you're open with respect and with the intention to learn and absorb, that's when the people of that place will be open. And that's when you have these incredible, beautiful experiences. But when you kind of go in with that chip, I think that's when people like, so many Americans are like, I hate Paris, Parisians, all that stigma. I went the most incredible time with the most incredible people. And it's like, because maybe you're going there with the expectation that this is your place or your experience, and you're not actually just observing respectfully.
And I think that lends itself into the expectation of Instagram versus reality, or expectation versus reality, where people are going into, let's say your example of going to Paris, people are already going into that, Americans going in, well, Parisians are just not very nice, or they don't like Americans. And you're already walking into that expectation with that mindset. Whereas if you just go in with an open mindset and know, okay, yeah, I don't know French. And if somebody tried to speak to me in another language while I was at home, of course I'd try my best. But at the end of the day, that's not the language that I speak. And so
like, I don't care.
why is it on the people of France to cater to somebody else? So, so it's just that level of privilege and expectation and all of that, that I do think the practice of yoga and meditation really helps you actually have that level of awareness and observation.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask, like, how do you think being so steeped and immersed in your yoga practice has helped you become a better traveler?
That's such a good question. And there's so many answers that I could give because I think it's endless. I've learned so much as just being a student of the practice and traveling. I would say it's everyone's going through their own experience. Even in a yoga class, like what that pose was going to bring for me and make me feel will be entirely different in somebody else. And I think travel is just very similar. Like I could have the most incredible travel experience for someone else. They kind of got knocked down, or it wasn't this awe-inspiring situation. And having compassion and patience for people in times of hardship, let's breathe. In times where you're ungrounded and you get a little rattled and your inner world is shaken up, sit with yourself. Just think, just feel, calm yourself down. And also, I think in the positive way that it's shaped me is that there's usually a yoga studio somewhere where you're traveling to. You get to share that practice with everyone in the world. Doesn't matter where you are, who you are. You can walk into a studio, take a class, and make a friend, which I think is one of the coolest things about yoga.
Absolutely. It's like such a... I got
chills.
You could, I know. You can like wander around and always find a home. I remember we were in Nha Trang in Vietnam for like a week, and there was a yoga studio nearby. So I went, and it was fully in Vietnamese. Like there was no English, but I learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because they were counting in Vietnamese, and I was like, okay, I know what that means. So cool. But you just look around and you're like, okay, they're in down dog. I kind of know what's going to come next. I kind of know what's going to happen after that. So that was pretty cool. I like got to learn some of the language just by going to a yoga class.
It's a cultural experience no matter where you're at.
Absolutely. And so speaking of bringing travel with the yoga, that's something that you're really passionate about is creating spaces, just like Chloe and I, creating spaces of retreats and travel. That's something that you've been doing for quite a long time now, is bringing groups to different areas of the world. What sparked that for you? What gave you the confidence to say, okay, now is the time. I'm going to bring a group of people to Nicaragua. I'm going to bring a group of people to XYZ place.
I think for me, it was always a plan. Like when I started my teacher training and they asked me, how do you want to teach? Like, what's your plan with this? And I was like, I want to lead yoga retreats all over the world. Because for me, yoga and travel are the two pillars of what's made me who I am and my passions. And to combine the two was just kind of like a no-brainer. It just took a very long time. And I think this conversation is something that's so important in the yoga community today. All the new teachers listening. All the new teachers want to immediately teach the yoga retreats, the workshops, the sold out this, the sold out that, the really exotic things. You need to be a teacher in a community for a very long time. You need to strengthen your gifts as a teacher and as a student. Also, if you're going to be a traveler as well, you have to put in your time and your dues, as you know, for sure. And so I think that even though it was a dream from the beginning, I knew that I needed to sharpen my tools and mature and grow a lot until that was going to be a reality for me.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful is that it's kind of that instant gratification, how people just want, okay, I've graduated my yoga TT or I've graduated whatever program and now I want to initially have a sold out crowd. And that's something that was one of my experiences. On my last yoga retreat of my training that we started the training with a yoga retreat and we finished the training with a yoga retreat. And I literally booked my deposit for a yoga retreat that I was going to lead on that day that I graduated for like 2 months later.
Oh, wow.
Somehow it sold out. I don't know why, but I learned
'Cause you're amazing.
So I learned so much about that retreat. And now looking back, I'm like, whoa, I can't even believe that I did it that way. Like I would never in a million years do it that way because like I said, you could have all the workshop training in the world, you can have all the yoga training in the world, but it's that ability to hold space for people, especially while they're traveling. And like you said, putting in your dues with traveling. You can't bring a group of people to a faraway place or an exotic place if you don't know how to handle the stress of that, because travel is inherently stressful.
I mean, you're going to places where not everyone speaks the language, the native tongue, and let's say there's a lot of miscommunication or things go awry. Like, you have to be able to be a rock and also hold space for everybody else, but also not only holding space, but be able to be a leader and be like, this might be a little uncomfortable or scary, but like, listen up, this is actually normal. Like, we've got this. Let's like breathe through it and let's just keep going. Because I think a lot of people get very unnerved when they're traveling because you're out of your comfort zone. You're not home. You don't have your creature comforts. And to come to mind, last year at my Nicaragua retreat, there's a massive river to get to the retreat center. And it rained the night before, so that river was flowing. So some of the girls, there were like 4 of them in one of the buses to get to the retreat center. They had to call a pickup truck to meet them there so they could transfer the cars, obviously 4x4, to get through the river because they were in like a low van. And I wasn't with them because I had already arrived. But when they got to the retreat center, they were hysterical. They were like, we thought we were going to get kidnapped or robbed or murdered. Like, who is this other car? And they don't speak Spanish, so they had no idea. Where I was like, oh, guys, like, they're just putting you in a different car to take you over the river and then to the retreat center. So I'm very detailed in descriptions of travel. I'm like, this is a possibility, which was a good learning lesson for me to understand that, oh, even something as simple as that to the untraveled person or student or just someone who hasn't been there before, I mean, it can be unnerving.
Yeah.
You have to be more sensitive.
I can give you like 4,000 stories of that. And, you know, it's nothing, it's no right or wrong. It's no, you know, that person's not as well traveled, so it shouldn't be an issue. It's just realizing as a retreat facilitator that the power is in the details. And when people feel uncertain or a little bit stressed about doing something new, details help feel like they have some sort of certainty. So it's really helpful. We've learned, like, every retreat, me and Chloe sit down and we have a whole debrief of lessons learned. How do we do better? What can we implement? What is actually something that is out of our control and we shouldn't worry about anymore?
Or like what could go wrong?
Yeah,
like, damage control.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, you know, it's one of those things as a retreat facilitator that you can't control everything. And so that is something that Chloe and I, we get asked a lot by new teachers, I want to do what you're doing. This looks amazing. And we're like, okay, so are you going to book the accommodation, book all the taxis, get the food, get all the allergies, make sure all the excursions are up, like going on and on and on. And people are like, oh no, I just want to teach yoga in a cool place. I'm like, okay, so why don't you be a guest teacher?
Yeah,
and you don't
same.
worry about it because it's a lot of work. And so you've led a couple of groups now, to Nicaragua and other places. What is something that you've seen is like the biggest transformation for your guests going on retreats and then also for yourself as a leader?
I think for my students, and I'll reference my last retreat since it's the freshest in my mind, which was in Nika, and the most beautiful thing to witness was the first 2 days, everybody had their shoulders to their ears a bit. They were like, okay, foreign land, we're kind of like in the middle of nowhere on the beach in Nicaragua, and we're like 4 hours from an airport, like we're kind of out here, it's very rural, even though it's a very luxe accommodation for Nika, you're still all the way out there, and so to see their shoulders just slowly drop after a couple of days, but then by the end, it was like a full celebration. Like their souls were just like on fire and like dancing with joy. The first day, people are still kind of on their phones or still to themselves. And like the last day, it's like, I don't even know where my phone is. When are we surfing again? Can we surf for like an extra 2 hours today? Or like, hey, like, and yoga, they were just so fully immersed in it. And every day, after like the first 2 or 3, you could just tell that they were just celebrating it and leaving with such gratitude and joy and appreciation for themselves and nature and being a student of nature. I think that's one of the bigger aspects of that retreat location is that you are so immersed in the ocean, and some people don't get to experience that to that depth ever. And it's such a humbling, beautiful, connected experience. And also to be a student all day, every day for a week when there's no job, there's no kids, there's no husband or wife, there's no responsibilities, there's no stress. You just get to actually be. Me witnessing that, I think, is just like the coolest thing. And to provide that, I think it's just like, I have chills again. Oh my God. But it's so cool. Like, I just remember like every day at the end of the day, I would look at Alex, my partner, and I'd have tears in my eyes. I'm like, everyone's so happy. Everyone just is having such a great time. And some people are going through healing as well. But to even see them go through that is just, what an honor to hold that space and to see people just really change their lives, honestly.
To be able to have a hand in someone's own self-empowerment is a really beautiful feeling to have. And what keeps, I'm sure, at least for me, is it keeps me coming back, even through all the highs and all the lows of retreat facilitation, which is a lot. It keeps you coming back, is because even if it's just one person saying this is the best day of my life, or I finally let go of XYZ, or I was really afraid to do this and then I did it, to watch someone go through that is so powerful.
And I think that as a human being in life, and when we have those own experiences and how cool that feels for us, and to be able to see so many people that you're now caring about, because a lot of them are new people that you don't know, but strangers and friends turn to family, seeing all of them share those experiences that pushed you to create this is just really special. I think that's what my takeaway is. Nothing makes me feel more fulfilled than at least changing one person's life, because I think if you change one, you change all. Yeah. And also how much fun they are. It's just so much fun. I have 10 new best friends from my last one, and girls that I call my sisters. So it's just so cool.
It's like you get to be a part of the process as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're part of the group.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you did your retreat in Nicaragua. You have one coming up, don't you?
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. Well, when this airs, this will have been a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I know it'll be amazing. So you feel very at home in Central America. And I know you and your partner recently decided to move down there, and you spent a couple months in Nicaragua. Can you explain a little bit of what that was like for the two of you as a unit to decide to move? Because a lot of people listening, they might have partners, and one partner might be like, I'm all in, I want to go, let's leave now. And another partner might be like, that's a little risky, what should we do? It's like, how do you in a relationship, in like a committed relationship, make that decision together?
This is such a powerful conversation. And I also start off, it is not for the faint of heart. And there's probably not one other person on this world that I could have done that with other than Alex. And our dynamic of yin and yang couldn't have been more strong. And I think that on the surface, just that clickbait of like, I'm traveling with my partner, we're moving to a different country together, kind of how we're talking about with the retreats where students lean on you. You're leaning on each other for everything. And it is a massive test. And I think that if you don't have patience and trust and unconditional love, but most importantly, if like that person's not your best friend, I just don't see how it works successfully. Because, I mean, there's days when you're traveling to a third world country. We were 5 days without water, 5 days without power, 5 days without Wi-Fi. I mean, I was going mental. I was like, all my creature comforts, like, it was pretty gnarly. And I was also like on my moon cycle. So there we go. And
amplified.
Amplified to the max. And again, like, we are as individuals experiencing a foreign land and individually trying to find our bearings and our grounding in it and understand how we feel and what are our takeaways from every new day that we experience here. And then we're also doing it together. And oftentimes that's really tricky because what is your treasure is another person's pain. Mm-hmm. And what someone else might not think is a big deal could be like the world to you. So it was just constant communication. If there was ever a moment where we're like, this is really hard and we're starting to target the guns at each other, not being a team, it was like, I'm going to go for a beach walk. Like, I'm going to go surf. I'm going to go do yoga. And him too. And we would come back and we're like, okay, we're a team. We're doing this together. Like, we just have to stay on track and recognize that, like, if we fumble and, like, we crumble, like, this is not going to work. So we just got to, like, make sure that we are in our flow of communication and trust.
Yeah. I think that's, yeah. And like you said, everyone, like you said, the clickbait of boyfriend, girlfriend, move to Central America together, come follow us. And the actual behind the scenes of that is really tough, especially that week that you guys had no water, electricity, all of that. Your survival mode comes out really strong. And it's a continual process of coming back to each other. Yeah. You know, it's okay. You need some space. I remember Sam and I traveled for a year together. And like you said, all day, every meal, every decision is with each other.
Yes.
And so some days I'll be like, I'm going for a massage, and he's giving me extra money saying, make it a 2-hour massage. Yeah.
Are you sure? Time. You can be like all day at the spa?
Go to the all day spa. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because you do need that space. And I think that's important. Anyone thinking about traveling or moving abroad with a partner, or even with just a friend, making sure that we don't get defensive or taking offense to somebody needing some space. And then also you really get a close-up view of how that person responds to stress. Absolutely. And how you're going to respond to them responding to that stress.
Absolutely. And sometimes, like, you're going to be better at it, they're going to be better at it. Sometimes you're both great at it, sometimes you both suck. And it's just having grace for each other during those periods and those challenges. And it's really funny because after the first 2 months, it's almost like we went through like the fire and the flames, and then it just all mellowed out. It's like every single situation thrown our way, we're like, oh, all right, that's nothing. Like, we got this. Like, we like made it through, and we like lived to tell the tale type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's very easy. Like, I was posting like a cute photo of Alex and I like surfing, and everyone's like, oh my God, the dream. And like, they actually have no idea that I told Alex to go fuck himself because he was driving the motorcycle too fast and I got scared and then I cried. And then like stupid couple things that you're just like, they don't know. Yeah. But again, I think conversations like this shed some light on that.
Yeah. And so there are tough times, but I'm sure there were plenty of great times. Can you tell a little bit of like your favorite moments of living in Nica for the last couple months?
Oh, yeah. Well, one of them was that we bought land right before we came back here.
Oh, no way. You told me you had to tell me something.
I know.
You're doing it on air. What the heck?
Whatever.
So you bought land in Nica or Wow. Okay. So everyone listening, Gabby and her partner Alex were thinking about buying property in El Salvador, and now you guys changed tack and decide to buy in Nica.
It was full surrender. Wow. Like, the first 2 months humbled us, like we just spoke about, and it was really hard. We were in the northern region of the country, and it's very rural up there. Absolutely stunning and gorgeous, but rural. And then we spent the last 2.5 months in the south. And the second that we got to the South, we were like, oh, wow.
This is home. Yeah.
This is home. This is incredible. But still, Alex is a lot more conservative than I am when it comes to this. He was like, wait, let's just like pump the brakes. We're still going to go to El Salvador. We've been going there for the past couple of years. We love it. I was like raving about it. He fell in love with it. Obviously, because all the waves there are rights and he's regular. So he's like, I love it there. I'm like, mm-hmm. So it was just one of those like, okay, let's just pump the brakes and slow down. And then 2 weeks went by and one of our friends that we made there was like, hey, there's a lot actually right next to mine. And he wasn't even talking to us. It was just like in the background and I heard it and I looked at him. I'm like, let's go look at this lot. And he's like, no, we shouldn't. And I was like, why not? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, don't we want to do this? And he was like, of course, it's like our dream. I go, well, if the shoe fits. And he was like, well, what happened to El Salvador? And I was like, it's right next door. We can always go visit. I mean, how do you feel about it here? And he goes, honestly, like really good. I can see us being here for a very long time and I'm really happy here.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, all right, well, let's go. And we looked at it. And the next day in my bikini, signed the contract, paperwork, and yeah, there we have it.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I want to like give you a big hug right now, but we have all this equipment around us.
Energetically, I feel it.
Yeah, right? Oh my God, how cool.
We're excited.
So what's the process then for you guys? What's the next steps for you? I know you're here for a little while. What are the next steps for you in terms of getting back there and starting to build?
And also, I feel kind of naughty because none of our families know about this yet. They will by February.
This will air. This will air in a couple months.
So I had to remind myself. I'm like, oh yeah, wait, we haven't even told our family yet. Sorry, moms and dads.
I won't rush this episode. Don't worry.
Yeah. Take your time. But the next process is in Nica. It's kind of cool. Other places in Central America are not like Nica. If you put everything down, you own the land outright. Other countries, you have to be a citizen or married to a citizen or have a business there to buy. So Nica also felt kind of safe in that way that we could buy here, right now, and it's ours. And we don't have to really do any sort of crazy legal situation to do it.
Okay.
Which, again, like in El Salvador, to marry an El Salvadorian or have a business there, I'm like, well, I can't marry one. I already have my partner. And we didn't want to set a business up there. So we were like, this just seems like a better fit. But we start building in March.
Amazing.
Very excited. And we are starting to talk to one of our friends who is married to an architect, and she is from Nica. So
that's perfect.
It just kind of worked out.
It's like clicking. Everything's aligning.
There was no resistance.
Yeah.
It was just like full swing. And I think the coolest thing about it was him and I have very different backgrounds to travel. He didn't really travel much at all growing up. He went to Nica for a surf trip with like his brother and friends, and Costa once for a surf trip, and then England to visit family. But other than that, he didn't do any solo travels. Like, he didn't really go around the world. And when we met, I was like, do you know who you're about to start dating? Are you sure you want to step into my world? Because I'm not going to stop doing this. And he was just so excited. So once we started dating, it was his dream to have a property somewhere that we can share with family and friends and create a lifestyle for ourselves that we've always dreamt about. Yeah. And I had never actually thought about living in a different place. I've always wanted just to travel and then have here be home base. But now that we're together, it's like a no-brainer for me and him to create a life there together.
Yeah.
And a family eventually one day. Just so cool.
It's so funny because I don't know Alex very, very well, but it's like the way that you speak about him, it seems like he's more of that like stable stability home, and you're more of that like free spirit all over the world. So now you've created a home in just a different part of the world.
Yeah.
So it's like you have that stability, but just in another country. So
he's the tree, I'm the wind.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's amazing for you guys. I mean, I'm so glad that worked out in that capacity, and thank you for sharing that. I mean, literally on air. So
I didn't
cool.
mean to, but you know,
I mean, it just came out. There you go.
Just word vomit.
So all those next steps, that sounds amazing. You're going to be in a very, new stage in your relationship, new stage in your life, settling down in Nica. What's next for Gabby in terms of how can people connect with you if they want to come on your retreats? What's next in your evolution of your, at least in the yoga retreat business?
For the yoga retreat business, it's definitely, I think in the beginning, you try and be conservative about how many you announce and create. You don't want it to be oversaturated. You want it to be mindful. And now that I feel a lot more grounded as a retreat leader, and I love Central America so much, and I haven't dipped my toe in the South yet, but I plan to very soon. But I think the next step is to have a consistent itinerary. Like every year, there's 4 lined up, and they're all going to be somewhat of a similar vibe. You're going to be in a different country, you're going to be doing yoga, and we're going to be in nature in some capacity. Surfing, hiking, climbing, what have you. There's always going to be a connection to nature, and for right now, I feel very confident and grounded to continue to host in Central. It's so affordable, and I think that's something that I feel very passionate about with yoga retreats. Nothing bothers me more than to see these retreats that are very glamorous, which is like, it's great, it's a different market, but only a 1% can afford to experience that.
Right.
Whereas we, as a modern culture, have profited off the exploitation of yoga, when what should be honestly like a free knowledge and self-study practice, we are capitalizing off completely. So I think there's a level of mindfulness that like, okay, I'm going to choose places that are not only incredible, but I want everyone to be able to come. Doesn't matter if you're 21 out of college and working as a server, or you are in your 50s and you and your partner are successful and you just want to experience this. Like, I want it to be accessible. So in terms of retreats, I think Central America is here to stay. And maybe in a couple of years, I'll throw in something kind of like crazy. But right now, it's kind of where I feel at home.
Knowing you, you'll throw in a wild card here and there.
Yeah, by February, by the time this launches,
you'll have a whole nother plan.
Yeah, Bali 2025.
Yeah,
like, I don't
right.
know, like whatever.
So another part of your business that we'll talk a little bit about is your creative outlet of being on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And so for those listening who don't know what OnlyFans is, can you explain from your perspective and the way in which you use it? Can you explain that? Because a lot of times people say, oh, that person can travel because of daddy's money, or that person can travel because of a rich partner, or that person can travel because of all the excuses that we say why people can travel and why we can't.
Yeah.
And you fund a lot of your travels and a lot of your life through the profit that you make through your OnlyFans account. So
Absolutely.
From your perspective, what is OnlyFans and how do you use it in that capacity?
Well, for those listening that don't know what it is at all, I assume that everyone does, but a subscription-based platform that you can use for any sort of business. What happened during the pandemic is models and girls and creators and, well, men and women, but creators on Instagram were like, how can I profit from home creating content online? Because they were no longer doing shoots and gigs and whatnot. And it took off. And that meant every industry hopped on the bandwagon. So the pornographic industry was like, oh, absolutely. And for a lot of people in the porn industry, they were like, I don't want to be someone be my boss. I want to be my own boss. I want to have the rights to my own content and create my own content in the way that I feel and post it as I want to and profit as much as I can without having to, take a cut and be told what to do. And so that's where the stigma came, because obviously the porn industry very easily makes waves and ripples in the media. So I had always spoken out against it with friends or whatever. I was just like, that's not for me. I don't get it. I had a very negative actually outlook on it, because I was like, I don't want my worth to be at the hand of someone paying for my content. And I also judged people for being on there. If it was pornographic, I was like, oh, so like you're in porn. And I was very negative and very judgmental. And then a little bit of a self-awareness moment. I was like, wait, I like post myself naked online all the time for free. If anything, they're smarter. At least they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Maybe they're onto something. And it kind of took me 2 months of really every single conversation I could have with my family, my friends, my work. Like, is this going to cause problems in my life? Is it going to offer abundance? Just weighing the pros and cons, risk and reward. And now being 2 years into it, I can say that it's caused a few problems in my life, and none in any of the ways that other people on social media are like, you're never going to find a husband. People aren't going to respect you. Your family won't respect you. Like, my family supports it. They celebrate it. My partner Who do you think takes my photos?
I was going to say he takes the pictures.
Yeah. Who do you think is behind the camera? And like, he's actually like my creative director at times. He's like, oh babe, like that's perfect. Like let's do this shoot. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like pop off king. And he celebrates it more than I do, really. But I've had other people that are close in my life really judge it. And I've had a lot of challenges of how to find the right verbiage. The biggest takeaway is that we're all going to do something on the spectrum of discomfort in someone else's eyes. To someone, what you're wearing right now is like, how could she wear that? Like out in public, depending on the culture or the country. I think that sometimes people are so quick to judge based off of their cultural background and their roots and past. And I think that it's one of those things where it's like, if it doesn't harm you, if it doesn't hurt you, it shouldn't affect you. You shouldn't even have an opinion on it. You may not understand it, but how can you judge something you don't understand? If you don't know about it, how can you even talk on it? And for me, it is such a creative outlet. I love being open and sensual and free with my body. I think that's so important for women. And there's like this reverse feminine movement happening on social media where it's like, you think you're empowering yourself, but men are taking advantage of you. And I'm like, I really don't know what you're talking about. I'm topless, microdosing on a beach in Nicaragua. I just bought land with the love of my life. I have an agency that helps me curate and strategize on everything so that I'm doing this at my fullest potential, and I love it.
And you're making money.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello.
Hello.
It feels good, it looks good, and it's putting money in your bank account. Like
we're doing okay, girly pops.
Yeah.
Like no need to judge. And I think that right now it's hard to not come at it with like a combative energy because it's just so easy, especially with sister wounds. And for other girls to be like, oh, like her tits are online. Well, that explains that. I get so much of that. And I'm like, what? At some time and some point in someone's life, you've done something that someone could say the same. And for that reason, we're just the blind leading the blind. There's no reason for us to point fingers, but in fact, like celebrate each other. It's like, oh, you do that and you love it? Cool. And I think it's just about having unconditional, like, I don't want to say love because it's such a strong word and I feel like some people can't digest that, but like love for people. Like you don't have to understand it or like it.
It's almost like compassion.
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't have to love it. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to agree with it.
Yeah.
But you could just leave me alone and not comment on it. You know?
Correct.
Comment online, comment in real life. Like if it's like you said, if it's not harming you personally, then what's the problem, right? And like kind of like what you said earlier about one person's treasure is another person's, pain. It's what you're putting out there for some people is inspiring them to travel. It's inspiring them to be open with their bodies. You're starting so many conversations online about what true sensuality is, about sensuality versus sexuality, about self-empowerment and body positivity, not just in this fluff, like in actually loving your body and how it is. And so I think there's a lot of positives in having these open conversations about,
for sure,
not just from the monetary side of things of what OnlyFans can do, but also the power that it gives to creators to be able to show what they want to show.
And I think for so many too, we are so reliant on certain business structures to make money. And this really allows people to live abundantly and at the hand of their own time and creation. And I think there's so much power in that. And the body positivity thing, I think, is just so huge. And I'm speaking about women mostly because I'm a woman. I can only speak from the lens of us. But we're so critical on ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. I have so many situations where I'm talking to women and I mean, the things that they're saying and the way they feel, even like being around girls in like a locker room, like they don't want anyone to look at them. And I'm like, if anything, we're going to look at each other and be like, you're beautiful. You're a fucking smoke show. I love the way that your hip dips like this when you are like laughing and your body language. Like, it's just a celebration of women. We're art. And it's so funny because I always think about this quote in Seinfeld where Elaine and Jerry are talking. And she was criticizing him for walking around naked in front of his partner. And he's like, what's wrong with that? Women do it. And she's like, well, women are art. Like, look at us, we're beautiful. Women are like, men are like Jeeps. Like, you're just tactical. Like, you're just there for like use. And I was like, I mean, yeah. But like, it's such an empowering business because, and I don't want to say that how anyone else uses it is not empowering, but at least for me, it's not like I'm involving anyone else in this. Like, it's me and my partner. It's my body. That's it. So I think that sometimes people get the ick, as the kids say, about like, oh, like that seems raunchy or distasteful, where it's like, for me, my own boundary with it is it's just me on there. And I have no problem with myself. So
yeah. Well, and you've done your due diligence of making sure that the people closest to you are okay, right?
Yeah.
The people who you care about, at least their opinion. So your partner and your family.
Yeah.
And anyone beyond that, even friends, other family, whatever, like you've made sure that the closest people in your closest circle, are you okay with this? Okay, cool.
Yeah. The thing that I always get is like, how does your dad feel? And I'm like, Ricky Ricardo's doing great. Like, he does not care. And of course, at first, they were like, what are you talking about? But they follow me on Instagram. I have one photo that I posted way before I had an OnlyFans, and there's a squiggly line over my nipple. You can still see my nipple. And it's on there for free. And so my dad was just like, oh, and you're getting paid to do it? Oh, yeah, whatever. And as a yoga teacher before the retreat business, which is lucrative, I was teaching full time. And I did great for myself as a full-time teacher, but you still are pretty hungry. Like, you have to work really hard. And I think that
you're taxing your body.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were physically, emotionally exhausted.
Drained.
Yeah.
Empty. You run on empty. So I think for me, I was like, I'm still going to do what I love. And yoga is my career. This is like my side hustle that just happens to be very lucrative. And he was like, I love that for you. And I'm happy that you have the balls to do it. My mom cried a little bit because she was just like, Cuban moms are so weird. She's like, you were in my body. I'm like, that is how this whole thing works.
This is how it works.
That's how it works. Like, I used to be in your body. She's like, and now your body's online. And I was like, yeah, don't have a kid if you don't want it to like have its own life type of thing. I say that so insensitively because I don't have children.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you to have a kid.
Yeah. You're like looking at me, you're like, yeah, that changes.
No, but it is true. Like, a part of the process of being a parent, and of course my girls are only 3 and 1, so I'll eat my words when they're 15. But part of the process of what I talk to with people with older kids is it's a continual process of letting them fly. It's a continual process of like knowing that they're safe to land at home, but you got to let them fly, and you don't know which direction they're going to go. That's the scariest part of being a parent. And I think what yoga helps so much, you're going to be well trained in the yogic side of things, is that process of continuing to surrender, continuing to let go, building up your self-awareness, and continuing to let go of the things you can't control.
Yeah. And I think that is kind of like a theme of our entire chat today is like compassion.
Yeah.
I had to have compassion for my mom when she cried. I was like, okay, like, you didn't see this happening, so maybe that's a hard one to swallow. But like, now she's like, oh my gosh, Gabby, like, that's a really cute picture. Like, your butt looked like that when you were a baby. And I'm like, don't compare my OnlyFans photo to like a baby picture. You're just being weird. But I think that also when I went on my first date with Alex, he didn't know at all. And
so you had OnlyFans before you had met Alex?
for only a month and a half.
Oh, okay. So it was new.
Brand new. And it was so funny because like, do I tell him? Or maybe because like he follows me on Instagram and we've been friends for years, so he surely has to know. And a month went by and he goes, hey, I just realized we haven't talked about it. Do you have an OnlyFans? I go, yeah. And he was like, obviously very taboo for partners, like, because there's a stigma of like, is she like cheating or what is this? Like, whatever. And off the rip, I was like, you have my full login. You have full access to it. If anything, do you want to take the content? Like, that'd be great. And he was like, yeah. And honestly, he was like, this is really hot. And I was like, okay, cool. And it just worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super easy.
I mean, it's just the right people in the right place.
Yeah.
The right time for everyone.
Different strokes for different folks.
I mean, and I think that's it. That's the whole like concept of this conversation really is like, having compassion for all, but then also like if you really can't agree with something and it's not harming you, move along. Like it's,
Keep it
it is
moving.
what it is. And this has enabled you to be able to travel the world, to do so many amazing things, surf all around the world, buy a property in Nicaragua. Like that's incredible. There's so many people out there that ask me, how can I make money? How can I get creative about making money? How can I fund my travels? And it's like, think outside the box.
Yeah.
Like, see what you already love to do. You already loved creating content, loved sharing your body as art. So why not monetize that?
And like you said, like you have to get creative in today's day and world to accumulate wealth. And if you're doing something out of the box, that means that everyone's going to judge it because it's out of the box. And you're going to have a lot of resistance for taking a chance and going against the grain a little bit or doing something a little taboo. But at the end of the day, you're still doing it for yourself and not for them.
Totally.
So it is kind of cool to see in this day and age that like so many people create wealth in such odd ways, like, unimaginable 20 years ago, honestly.
Yeah,
that's just so cool.
Well, thank you so much. This has been so fun. I mean, if anyone knows me and Gabby, you know that we would literally just keep talking for another 4 hours.
Yeah, I was like, we could do this. What's our like time limit?
I know, right? So I always end these episodes with 4 questions that I haven't shared ahead of time. So we'll just see what comes up.
Ooh,
all right.
Okay.
So if you could only go back to one country or place, where would it be and why?
Nicaragua, obviously, I think now, which again, I was only there for 3 months, but it captured my heart. It feels like home, and it feels like a place that I am just so excited to share with everyone that I know and love. And the memories and connections and just experiences that we've already had and are going to have, I just know it's like the reason why we're there. Like the reason why I'm here is to be there. And I'm so excited.
I love that. So
amazing.
Sam and I are looking at properties in Costa Rica. So we'll own something in Costa, you own something in Nica, and then we'll just like house swap.
That's literally perfect.
Party along the coast together. So
I mean, I'm full swing for that because
we'll keep you posted.
It's a movement.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Everyone go quit your jobs
I know,
and
right?
move to...
I know our friends were like, oh, we'll go in on that house with you. I'm like, no, I want you to go buy a house in North Carolina or go buy a house in Europe, and then we'll all just have our own houses.
My friend Perrin, he was visiting us, and I told him about the land, and he was like, what the hell? Why didn't you tell me? I go, no, dude, you have the house in Hawaii.
Yep.
Like, you're our Hawaii plug. I'm the Nika plug.
Right? We all need our own spaces. So.
Yeah. And I'm like, if anything, like, because he goes to Baja, I'm like, let me know if you buy something in Baja. And so, yeah.
Totally.
Homies all over the world.
There we go. That's the new Airbnb. Just homiesallOverTheWorld.com.
No one steal that idea.
Yeah, right? Oh, shoot. Get the patent now. So number 2 is what's next on your bucket list? What's number 1?
The only thing that comes to mind, like, I'm like, okay, is it like business? Is it this or that? It's like, no. I'm so excited for just whatever the next chapter is for Alex and I. It's like so weird and so mushy, but they're like, your life changes when you find your person. And like, I may get emotional, but like, he's my greatest adventure. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
I always joke, I'm like, the Grinch's heart grew 2 sizes when I met him.
Aww.
And so whatever's next in store for us, I'm just like the most excited about that.
Yeah.
Whatever
I
is.
love watching your guys' love. It's just so fun for me to see it evolve.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
I love him.
So number 3 is what's the biggest life lesson you've learned while traveling?
Biggest life lesson to learn while traveling, listen to your intuition. You're never overreacting. It's never an anxiety attack. It's never, you're overthinking it. If your intuition is telling you to run, hide, jump, scream, don't go, or to try it, or it's scary, but like I should do it, just always listen to your intuition.
I think that's really powerful, especially as somebody who's traveled solo as a woman so much. So we get a lot of answers like, just do it, just go for it. It's going to be scary, but do it anyways, which is really powerful advice.
Absolutely.
But also as a female solo traveler, you have had a lot of experiences where you've had run-ins or you've had, scares or, all of that. And oftentimes as women, we often think, oh, but it wasn't that bad, so I shouldn't have reacted that way, or I feel bad, I might have stereotyped, or I might have had a bias. And it's like, no, if you're getting a ping or you're getting like a gut instinct that you need to go and, latch on to a random stranger so it doesn't look like you're alone, or you need to talk to the bartender and say, stay with me until this person leaves, like, That's okay. Like overreact, like make a scene because it's your
Don't make
safety is
yourself
number
small.
one. Exactly. Don't make yourself small or don't think it's not that bad because that's oftentimes when we get ourselves in trouble.
And traveling or anywhere as a woman, it's like, it can be life or death for us. Our ability to fight back is a lot more limited than, let's say, a man versus a man. You just have to understand and really know yourself. What is excitement when you feel that in your gut? What is intuition? What is fear? What is a trigger of trauma? And having to really hone in on like what each of that is for you so that you're able to operate from like a clear space.
Yeah. And that's what the yoga does for you as well.
Absolutely.
Is being able to decide what's my inner voice, what's my intuition, and what's just some, random voices from the outside world that I'm not paying attention to.
It's totally the yoga.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yoga, it's the
full
awareness.
credit.
Yeah. Right. And then the very last question is, if you could give a piece of advice, I guess this kind of goes back to your life lesson, but if you could give a piece of advice to a beginner traveler, what would you say to them?
Don't listen to anyone else's advice. Everyone's going to have their 2 cents, whether they've been there or they haven't. The only person that's going to be able to experience it fully is you. And I always have to revert back to like my own experiences for a reference, but if I listened to anybody's advice, I wouldn't have gone anywhere. I wouldn't have done anything. And even the people that tell me, oh, go, but go now because you're not going to want to go later. Like even like the somewhat positive advice, like grain of salt in one ear, out the other. You just have to really know you and what you want, where you want to go and why. You'll figure it out. You have to trust yourself because everyone else is going to have their own bias.
I like that. What's your biggest piece of advice? Don't take anyone's advice. That is such a Gabby response.
It really is. Don't listen to anybody.
So I've loved this conversation. I know for sure when you come back from Nico, we'll have a part 2. But for those that are listening that are like, this girl is rad, I want to connect with her. What's the best way for them to connect with you online?
Instagram for sure. I'm always on, and I am like an avid chatter on there. Like I don't know a lot of people on there, but I have like Instagram besties that I just talk to like all the time. And Alex is like, who is that? Like, have you even met her? I'm like, no, but she's so cool. I love her. Yeah. And so Instagram for sure.
What's your handle?
Gabriella _ Christina.
Okay.
And I think probably in the next couple of weeks, my website will be launched. But if you follow me, you'll see. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, thank you.
This was so fun.
So fun. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're feeling on fire and lit up to start planning the bucket list adventure you're craving, let's work together. I'm here to manage all of the hassle of planning, hand select your options specifically for you, and give you the inside scoop that no AI itinerary can give you. Click the link in the show notes to look through our pricing and packages. You're one click away from the adventure of a lifetime. This is your reminder to keep on exploring.